Skye At Holland, can you buy this project or not? Long story short, I think for a lot of people, this might not be the best pick for you, alright, because of the PSF. But there are certain groups of people who might prefer, and their profile actually suits more of Skye At Holland. But I think that for a price analysis or investment aspect, the entry price might not be the most attractive as of now. There's a bit of a gap, especially within the Holland V area. Alright, hi again, I'm Tong Boon. I'm a fixed fee realtor which transacted over 100 plus properties in 2024, my record year, and as well as more to come. And I'm here to actually try to provide a new perspective because I'm not from any developer sales team for an independent agency. So I'm able to give you the more, in a sense, I like to give you my opinion on which projects or different area, which is a better buy, alright, or based on analysis, which one is a better buy. So do let us know, alright, if you need any consultation which more better suits your own personal preference, alright, you can drop me a DM in the comment sections. I'll be here to assist you, alright, because we have links to all developers as well as all the resale projects. So do let us know. I've done actually a very huge table over here. So PM me if you need, and I'll send it over to you the PDF collated over quite a few days, the data and the numbers for all these projects around the Holland V area to look at Skye At Holland. So number one, you might be thinking, if you don't know what is this project. Alright, so for Skye At Holland, what is Skye At Holland? Alright, Skye At Holland is a project at Holland Village. Looking at this, right, basically this is actually awarded, alright, the Holland Drive GLS to CapitaLand and UOL Consortium, right? This was actually done on May 14 last year. So for this one, right, you can see it's here, May 2024, right? It's last year. The GLS site was bought and usually it launches around a year plus later. So which is now, fast forward, now I'm making this video the 5th of September. So Skye At Holland is also gearing up to be launched in the latter part of September as well. So I think this video might be timely. So according to this, you can see the land plot over here is next to One Holland Village Residences over here and stone's throw away to the MRT station. So pretty good location. Looking at land price, the developer bought at 1,285 bid price, quite a bit of a distance above the Hong Leong Holdings and Hong Realty at 1,221.05. That means they do expect that there's a lot of demand for this area. There's a little bit of a gap between bids. It's not such a close bid like certain projects whereby the bid is just 差几个 PSF. This is actually like this. So this is a 99-year leasehold property in District 10. Some of them expected it to be 2,800. Some people expect to be 2,700. But I give you the latest news. This one's dated back last time. I believe that this property, cheapest that you'll be launching, right, if the developer takes around 15% profit margin, right, after calculating all the costs involved, the show flat costs, everything, likely cheapest I think it will go is around 2,550 PSF range around there. I did my calculations. And assuming the project wants to go for a higher profit margin, which I think have been seeing nowadays, around 30% plus, then it's likely to go for around 2,800, 2,900 PSF. Likely I think might be going to 2,900 PSF. So at 2,900 PSF, right, is it worth a good buy? So looking at the numbers, let's delve straight into the analysis for the area. This Skye At Holland Village, by the way, is a big project and it's 99 years. Looking at cluster analysis, right, you can look at areas surrounding it. You actually have many freehold projects and only a few 99 years. It's quite a unique area whereby the freehold actually in a sense, oversupplies the 99-year condos around the area. This is especially not so prominent, especially in the OCR areas like Canberra or this. Usually the newer areas, right, the outside areas, usually where people are buying, a lot of people I can see are buying, they are actually more of a 99 years. So looking at this, right, the only 99 years that I can find around this cluster, right, there's another cluster where there's another 99 year, but this is a Merasaga. Okay, then of course the other smaller projects like Willyn Ville, Jade Mansion and Leedon 2. Just for comparison, number of units, Merasaga is one of the bigger ones at 116, and Skye At Holland likely will be destroying it in terms of the size. It's likely going to be much bigger than this. It's much more units, and these are all smaller projects, 63, 27 and 72. And I'll show you where does it stand in the Google Maps in a little bit, but you can take a look at this. Usually I'll take the 3-bedroom or the average prices to take a look. Right, the average prices for Merasaga, okay, is around 1,500. Willyn Ville is around 1,600. Average PSF for this is around 1,400, and Leedon 2 is at 1,637. So I think, right, this project, the prices have been depressed for quite a bit because Holland Village, I gotta admit, the pricing at that point of area or the demand for the area is not big, because for family wise, likely huge families will not be staying there. It's again CCR, and if you are looking at a lot of the bigger projects or more bigger project, nicer projects, usually it's more of the newer ones, the new 99-year leasehold condominium. But I think Skye At Holland, once it's released, it might pull up the demand for all this, because I would say that those people who maybe drop out of the ballot for Skye At Holland, they might want to go back into the resale market and look for a freehold property. So again, these are something that you can consider. Okay, all these are definitely very old, right? 1995, all is a pre-2000. So definitely the downside, okay, I'm talking about pure price analysis, and also after that the more qualitative aspect. Qualitative aspect, I'd like to say as the ones like the facade, how nice it is, alright, the project itself. Usually those very old freehold, the pre-2000s, the maintenance is not so good. There are some issues here and there. The project is also feels a bit more 老气, but some people do like. Actually quite nice, but usually the maintenance is suffering on a little bit. So usually, right, if you compare the apple to apple analysis, usually I'll put around a 5 to 10% discount on the freehold older properties because of the maintenance. But of course, if you don't care, you are perfectly fine with it, then usually, right, you can keep it as an eye-to-eye comparison. So you can see, right, just from this, right, although it's old, but all of these are actually transacting around 1,500, 1,600 range, which is is really very, you know, Skye At Holland launches at 2.9, right? It's almost half there. So that is the difference between Skye At Holland and these older projects. That the gap is just too huge. For people who are considering Skye At Holland, there is other projects that is out there that is quite a big gap. If the freehold gap and this gap is around 20 to 10%, 10 to 20%, then maybe I would say that, okay, by all means, go ahead, go for Skye At Holland, because Skye At Holland is a project that is very big, very new. There'll be younger people or younger families would like newer projects, right? And that is definitely a lure for many different ones. And this case, whereby the gap is so big, it's almost half, right? Then I think that it's worth for me to open my eyes to take a look deeper at where all these are. Okay, so let's take a look. Number one, let's go over to all these projects itself. So firstly, let's take a look at Leedon 2. Leedon 2 is actually 5 minutes walk away from the Holland Village MRT. Very close by. But let's take a deeper look from here. Okay, you can see you walk from here, the Holland Village MRT, you walk up to Holland Village Park, then you move up all the way, ping, and you actually reach here already. Super convenient, right? You can see Leedon 2 is right here. Okay, let's take a look at some pictures of Leedon 2 lah. Okay, as you see, it is old. Okay, I like to do some preliminary research for you guys. I'll take a look. Okay, so it really fits the old condo vibe. Very nice. This one reminds me of Moonstone Residences, another project and marketing as well. A bit smaller landscaping, alright, and yeah, a small project lah. And you can see at first glance the feeling also a bit like Gardens at Bishan, but much smaller. Okay, so you can see Leedon 2, the thing over here, then you walk inside, then you go into your project already. So likely you won't be buying this project because you like the facilities and whatnot, likely because of convenience, but you're paying around half and it's freehold. You're owning this piece of land forever, right? However, those kind of old freehold condominiums, likely the exit plan when you exit, want to sell, likely might be a bit more longer phase because the transactions are slower because of the smaller project size, right? So keep that in mind. So you can see Leedon 2 is something like that. So I mean, this is something for consideration. If you don't like this kind of project type, then I mean it's gone already lah. So, but if you're open to it, Leedon 2, right, is something that you can consider. Next one we take a look at is the Merasaga. So Merasaga, you can take a look from here. This is much more bigger. The pool is much more swimmable, definitely. Seems quite modern, not too bad. I think for older condominium pre-2000 is still quite well upkept, right? So okay, quite nice, not too bad. So again, you can get the general vibe of this area. Okay, also a small project and it's inside the enclave over here. This is the 99 year one. Okay, but 99 year one, right, to be honest, I will not be recommending it that much because for a 99 years pre-2000, right, it's still charging 1,500, 1,600 is around the same range. I would likely not go for that lah because it's 99 years, right? You will likely sweat bullets, right? Your holding power will be a bit more shaky, a bit more scared because it's already 99 years to 991. It is a very old project, super old project. It's a 35 year plus old, so be cha-cha already lah. So this is a project for you to take into consideration. You can remember, alright, but definitely keep at Willyn Ville, Jade Mansion, and Leedon 2. These are the projects that are freehold. At least when you want to sell and you have difficulty so-called selling, right, you still have the holding power because the freehold effect doesn't erode. So that is something that you can consider. Alright, so Merasaga, that's another one. Next one is Willyn Ville. Very nice. Right here only. Also a very close by from here. It's an apartment building. Definitely it's not going to be, there's still condo facilities, not too bad, but it's a small pool similar to Villa des Flores, another condominium in more of the central area. Quite interesting vibes. Very low floor, 4th floor only. This one likely, right, I will actually choose the previous one over Willyn Ville because Willyn Ville really gives me the very old apartment vibes. A lot of people likely very turned off by it, and just the project itself, the facade and the feeling that it gives me, right, and looking at transaction numbers, not so healthy. So I think personally, up to me, right, I'll choose the other one. I'll choose Leedon 2 over this because this one really, the low floor area, only a certain group of buyers will like, likely landed downgraders will like this project. So Willyn Ville is something that I would likely rate it slightly lower the view. So yeah, this Willyn Ville for you, not too bad, okay, but too old and apartment-y feeling for me. And last but not least, we look at the Jade Mansion, 1985. I would say, judging for numbers, second to Willyn Ville, right? It's also very old. So let's take a look whether it is going to be gone, right? So you take a look at the average pricing, around 1,400 plus. So far, Jade Mansion is the cheapest and also the smallest, 27 units. So let's take a look. Okay, Jade Mansion. So you can see Leedon 2 is here. Jade Mansion is right here, right? The top over here. So Jade Mansion, let's take a look. The project itself is just one block long and like this. But judging for even from this, right, I might even pick this over Willyn Ville because Willyn Ville, the feeling and the maintenance, it feels worse facade itself. But I mean, this is still quite cheap and the amount project is really very little. It's really a tiny project. 27 units, very little. So I would definitely not suggest to enter this. So I mean, one of the more prominent ones for this cluster itself is likely Leedon 2, right? That we can take a look at. You know, might be a potential more of a value buy and a long-term holding buy compared to Skye At Holland, alright? So this is something that you will consider. Looking at comparison table, okay, I definitely have more over here. Cornwall, Holland Village, Lush, and Holland Parvis, which I will cover in the next video as part 2 of this YouTube series. So you can see I have a lot of numbers collated. So do let me know in the comment sections below. And I'll also go through the stack analysis in a separate video as well. Do some analysis on the stacks based on these projects. Which one might be better, which one might not be better. Alright, you can see I'm scrolling through so much information for you. So if you need this PDF or you need me to do some consultation on which one might be a better buy, or if you are considering to go for Skye At Holland, definitely there are some profile which definitely suit Skye At Holland. Likely you like big projects, you like the facilities, you are using it a lot, and you're looking to exit very fast, very quick, then yes, you might want to, you can consider Skye At Holland Village around the area. But again, depending on what is the PSF price that in the end, the developer is launching. At 2,900 is likely a bit expensive for my liking, alright, but if they do come up with a better pricing, then I think you might be able to get, if you get a good stack, you get a good facing, alright, then it might be worth to buy a bigger project and also a young project around the area. So again, I'm Tong Boon, alright, I'm the fixed fee realtor, and if you need my services to sell your condo at 4,999 fixed agent commissions, alright, I charge a fixed fee instead of the usual 2%, or HDB for 1,999, landed for 9,999. You can drop me a WhatsApp, or if you need any buying service or analysis to buy your projects, your resale, or your new launch, or your executive condominium, I'm here to help you. Alright, I've seen many 100 plus, 200 plus projects before, so I think I walk the ground a lot. You can check out my TikTok channel, you can see proof of me walking the grounds every single day. So actually I can really see and understand what really moves the market or what buyers generally prefer. So again, I'm Tong Boon, alright, and I'll see you again in my next video. Ciao.